Hi, Dutch Uncle George here, and on this video I'm going to be talking about something called pheromone maxing, which is this idea that if you don't shower, your pheromones will be a powerful attractant for the women, and they'll come flocking to you because of your wonderful manly pheromones. So let's talk about this. Pheromones are something that in humans are really complicated as to how they actually work or not work, as the case may be. Other animal species, they actually have receptors in their brains that allows them to perceive pheromones without actually smelling anything. Whereas humans, that's not really the case. We don't have a pheromone detector, so to speak. So it really comes down to more the sense of smell as to how pheromones may act on people. And it's, like I said, pretty complex. Pheromones have different functions depending on what specific ones we're talking about. But for the sake of this video, I'm just going to kind of concentrate on a few that are associated with attraction in females. So there's a couple of different ones that come into play here, and they have different effects depending on the situation. So first of all, different people have genetic tendencies to be able to smell these things versus not smell these things. And if they can smell these things, how they smell, like what they smell like, whether they smell good or smell bad. So that's something to keep in mind, that there's going to be genetic differences on this. But first of all, there's when you're at the gym or you're working out hard or you're working outside or just outside and it's hot and you sweat, the fresh sweat contains a couple of different ones that are sometimes considered pheromones, but they're chemicals that are at least chemically similar to pheromones in other animals. One of those is androstenol, and androstenol is one that typically smells attractive to people. They like the smell of it. And then another one that is in that initial sweat release is androstenedione, which also probably for more often than not, it smells good to people, although there are people that smell it and think it smells terrible. But both of those two are released in the early stages of sweating, and we'll call it fresh sweat. And once they've been exposed to the air, they start to oxidize, and they oxidize into another chemical called androstenone, not to be confused with androstenedione, which is one of the ones that's in fresh sweat. As sweat ages, as it's exposed to the air, more and more of those two, androstenol and androstenedione, are converted to androstenone. And androstenone is perceived differently by different people. Different studies have had very mixed results because there's a lot of different factors that come into play, but anywhere from 30 to 70% of women can't smell it. They can't smell it at all. They don't know whether it smells good or bad because they don't smell it at all. Of the remaining ones that are out there, some people, it smells really bad. It smells, it's described as smelling like urine. Not a good scent if you're trying to attract dates or sexual partners. And others, it smells good. It's described as smelling kind of like vanilla. So these things are genetically variant how it smells to people. And actually the genetics of the person producing the chemical will matter. If there's genetic compatibility with the female, it's more likely that it will be perceived favorably. But the bottom line here is, there's a lot of guys out there who are avoiding showering with the idea that they're going to use these natural pheromones, whether they are or they aren't actual pheromones, but they're using these natural scent-based sweat-based scents to attract women. And I think, if you come back up to what I was saying, 30 to 70% can't smell it at all. Of the remaining ones, some think it smells bad, some think it smells good. So in advertising, there is a saying that says, your advertising message has to turn on more people than it turns off. And I think if we look at the stats concerning pheromones, or these chemicals that we're talking about, that those numbers don't really work in your favor. 30 to 70%, let's kind of put it in the middle, say 50%, it doesn't help you. Doesn't help you, doesn't hurt you. So 50% right off the top, no help, no hurt, but so that leaves you with 50% of the women, and of those, let's put it 50-50. Some will think it smells good, some will think it smells bad. So the reality there is, if we take out 50%, the remaining 50%, half are going to be positively influenced by it, half are going to be negatively influenced by it. So that means that overall, the pheromone maxing may give you a benefit with 25% of the female population. That's not really a great thing. And it's going to turn off probably just as many as it turns on. So, the benefits of not showering are probably small to none, and they may actually be negative. You may actually be losing ground by not showering. And if you're going to avoid things to try to attract women, what I suggest you avoid is being needy, being clingy, being possessive. Those types of things are huge turnoffs that are going to be a lot more powerful than anything that you can find in your sweat. So that covers it for pheromone maxing. My advice on it is don't bother. Take a shower, so that whether it's people that you're trying to attract or just people you're hanging out with, more often than not, they're going to prefer that you've showered. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you got some benefit from it. And like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.